Hey everyone, I'm DT10 and in this video I'll be showing you 6 ways to decorate your TARDIS for Halloween. Almost a year ago now, I did a very similar video to this but for Christmas, and while that one was in the Darling mod, I'll be using Vanilla 1.17 for this video due to the vast amount of blocks that have been added since 1.12 that can really help with this decoration. This doesn't have to be done with your TARDIS either, it can be done with any Minecraft base, but if you'd like to build this particular TARDIS then please click the first link in the description. Hope you enjoy. So to start with, we're going to be doing the exterior. Now, it's important to note that I am going to be using the 11th and 12th Doctor's TARDIS, my version of it at least, and this is from months and months and months ago. And when I built it, I didn't know about certain things, and certain things weren't in the game, for example, glow signs and invisible item frames. So I have given both the exterior and the interior a little touch up with some new techniques, which is why it might look a little bit different to how it tells you to build it in the tutorial. Anyway, the first thing you can do is use your colours. So we're going to be returning to the theme of colour a lot in this video, but it's basically just recoloring it to look a little bit more like Halloween. And this very, very vibrant blue isn't exactly very Halloween themed. So something that really works for me is cyan terracotta. So if you use a command a little bit like this, which is /fill, then the coordinates from one point of your exterior to the other point, so from top to bottom basically, then put Minecraft cyan terracotta, replace blue concrete. It will replace all the blue concrete in your build with the cyan terracotta like this, and I think it looks really, really good. Now there is also a blue carpet up here, so if you grab yourself some grey carpet, then you can just replace it like that, and I think this looks much, much better. Now you can go a step further with this. So you'll need the following blocks for this, and this is something we will be doing with the interior as well in just a second. So what you can do is basically dot around some pumpkins, some carved pumpkins, and some jack-o'-lanterns like this, just to create a little bit of something like that, and just some piles of pumpkins basically. And you can do this however you want. It really, really doesn't matter how you want to do this. Then a really good trick with pumpkins is to place a sea pickle on top, and it looks like the little stem. Again, this is something we'll be returning to for the interior, but any that are exposed, you can put a little stem on like this, and they look really, really nice. Then if you grab yourself a command block, then you can do the thing in the description that looks like a lot of random stuff like this. It's basically a /give command for a certain player head. So if you would copy and paste it from the description into this command block, and then click always active and then click done, then it will put one of these, a carved pumpkin, in your inventory. And this is just a really, really nice little decorational kind of player head, I guess. And you can place these however you want. I like to place them on the roof like that, and it just sort of brings it to life a little bit and makes it look really, really nice. Then finally, if you grab yourself some tinted glass, then what you can do is replace this sea lantern here with some tinted glass like that. And so there you go. This is how I've chosen to decorate my exterior. Now this is basically just using all the techniques we're about to go and use in the interior. So if there's anything else that you'd like to pick out from the interior that you think would also work here, then please feel free to add them. Right, so we're now inside the interior for our next one, which is the colours. So all the way around this TARDIS, there is a lot of blue stained glass. And if you replace all of this with orange stained glass, it looks really, really, really nice and Halloween themed. Right, so once you've done that, your TARDIS will look like this, and particularly with the orangey glow of the redstone lamp behind, they do actually look really, really nice. Now, if you move down under here, there is also some blue stained glass and some sea lanterns this time down here. Now, you've got two options for this. You can either replace all of the sea lanterns with lit redstone lamps, just like up there, and then also fill in the blue stained glass with orange stained glass, or you can come back to our good old friend, the tinted glass, and replace all of the blue stained glass with this tinted glass like this. Now, I think I'm going to be doing this one purely that you don't really want this TARDIS to just be orange. You want to incorporate a couple of other colours here, and not only does this link in with lighting, which we'll get to in just a second, but it just looks really, really good, and black is another one of the main colours for Halloween, along with orange. We're going to be using that quite a lot as well. Right, so once you've done that, the underside of your TARDIS will look like this, and I personally think it looks really, really good dark. Now, we will come to lighting as another one of our steps in just a second, and we will be fixing the fact that it's a bit dark, because obviously mob spawning can be quite a big issue if you haven't got mob spawning turned off like I have. But yeah, I think it looks really, really good. Right, now there are so many other opportunities with regards to color in this TARDIS, just recoloring it to fit with the Halloween theme. For example, behind here, I like to replace these with red sand, although obviously this will be a bit of an issue with lighting once again, which we will come to, I promise. Then you've also got all these stuff up here. You could replace all of this glass and all of these sea lanterns if you want to. I'm personally not going to be doing that in this video, however, it's just something to consider. Right, now this is where your TARDIS really starts to get spooky. So we're going to be doing the thing we did outside, which is this kind of pumpkin trick where you just leave some piles of pumpkins around like this. And this, by the way, is where we start to solve the lighting issue. With all of these jack-o'-lanterns that we're placing, the light issue is very, very quickly fixed. So dot some piles of these pumpkins around first. So there we go. All I've done is just dot a fair few piles of these all the way around the TARDIS. You've got some under here, you've got some on top like that, and instantly the lighting is sorted. Then another thing you can do, just to add a little bit more atmosphere, is spawn in a couple of these bats. Now, it is worth spawning a fair few because they tend to just go off and hide in different corners. So just spawn a couple around the TARDIS, and not only does it add some sound, but it also adds a little bit of life to the TARDIS and makes it look really, really nice. Right, so the next one is mainly to do with candles, and this is something I was really, really excited to use. This is one of the main reasons I did this in 1.17, not 1.12, just because these are absolutely perfect. Now, there's so many different colors you can choose to use if you want, but basically just dot a couple of these around the TARDIS. I particularly like putting a couple on the console like this. I just prefer to use solely just the standard candles, but really you can use whatever color you want. Now, another really, really nice decoration is, of course, cobwebs. These are pretty standard, and it's an absolute necessity in any Halloween decoration. Just place some of these in the corners of your build, wherever you really want to. Some on the roof particularly work, especially as the whole thing is black concrete, so it really can help to break it up a little bit. Right, now, the final one for this sort of small decorations bit before we move on to some really, really interesting stuff is what I like to call the ruining of this TARDIS. Just make it look a bit old and abandoned along with the cobwebs. Something that really helps here is if you go underneath here and turn off the beacon. Not having the beacon works really well for this, so there's no real good way to do this. If you just come down here, turn that beacon off, cover it up properly and everything, and do something like this. Right, now, once your beacon is turned off, what you can do is kind of destroy some of these and make it look a bit ruined. Now, you will have to play around with which ones work best. For example, I think that block works pretty well. The block under here might work quite well, and you can do a little bit of stuff under here as well. For example, these two blocks here might work quite well. You just basically, you don't want it to look like a pattern. Sort of 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done a bit of a bad job there, and you don't want to make it look like it's all ruined. So just fiddle around with which one works best for you. Then you can do the same up here with this. So if you do something like that, it just makes a couple of them look ruined like that. You can go all the way around your TARDIS, do this wherever you want, and it's just a nice little touch. Now, you can do a similar thing with the massive sort of columns, I guess you could call them here. You can destroy some of these and place a wall instead, and it makes it look a little bit ruined like this. It will look a little bit weird, and then with these ones, I suppose you can just break the blocks, right? I mean, it will look a little bit weird if it's floating, but you can just break a couple of them, make it look a little bit ruined like this, and it's a really, really nice effect. I've just noticed almost all of my bats have disappeared. I mean, I can still hear them somewhere. But anyway, if you come down here, this is where the decoration starts to get really, really interesting. So what you can do is sort of clear out a little bit of a space down here and create a very, very rough looking circle. Something along the lines of this. Then once you've got your rough shape, extend it quite far down like that. Now, another thing you will have to do is fill in the sides. Now, you can either just fill in the whole thing with cyan terracotta, which does work, or you can create a little bit of a gradient, and that's the one I'm going to be doing here. So it's just a little bit more fun, and basically blend this cyan terracotta into some of your black concrete, and it looks quite nice. Right, now, I can recommend using some grey concrete as well as kind of like your transition block. So I'm not really very good at gradients, to be honest, but basically we're just going from cyan terracotta to grey concrete to black concrete in a bit of a nicer way than just filling it all in. Right, so there we go. It should look something like this. It just slowly goes from cyan terracotta to grey to black, and it looks pretty good. Now, it's quite hard to see, however, we are going to be fixing this, because if you come all the way to the bottom, then what you need to do is place a load of sea lanterns like this. Now, what you can do is hide these with carpet, however, you don't really need to. And the reason for that is the glass will end up hiding it all on its own. So if you do something like this, where you kind of miss a block, and then do another layer, and then miss a block and do another layer, then you create a bit of a fog effect. Now, it does look much better with Optifine, which is what I'm using to make this glass texture connect. However, it still works perfectly fine, completely vanilla, and it just looks really cool. So there we go. Now, this is a bit of a detail that kind of requires some story, and I'll very much leave you guys to come up with that. It's almost like, what have you uncovered? What is the hole in the TARDIS leading to? What is the weird thing in the TARDIS void that this is sort of a hole into? So I've also just put some stone slabs and stuff to break it up, make it look a little bit more ruined. Now, you can still see the sea lanterns right up here, so maybe I haven't gone deep enough. Obviously, like I said, the deeper you go, the better it looks. But this is a really nice little detail to have in your TARDIS. And the best bit is you can replicate them. So you might do another smaller one over here or something. And it just looks really good. Right, now the final stuff I'm going to be covering in this video is a bit more technical, and it's completely revolving around command block. So if you're doing this in survival, unfortunately you will have to skip over this step. So what we're going to be doing is basically some cool wizardry that I don't really understand, but I just know of, that means you can play sounds and also give players effects. Right, so if you come underneath your TARDIS like this, and basically just dig underneath here, it doesn't really matter where you put this, it can be absolutely anywhere in the world, it just needs to be a loaded area, then clear out a little bit of a space, and make a very basic redstone clock, just like this, 4 repeaters with some redstone dust. Right, so once you've done this, you then need to use the following command in your command block. So it is basically this. It is a really scary set of sounds that I have picked out. So it's play sound, minecraft.ambient.underwater.loop.additions.ultra-rare, music at A. Now this does require your music to be on, and obviously whatever volume is on is whatever volume this will play at. So basically just connect this to your redstone clock like this, and turn it on, and you will get some very scary sounds. Right, now obviously once you do this, you will get some really annoying messages in chat, and it will be really spooky. So to turn these off, all you need to do is /game rule command block output false, and they will stop in chat. However, another thing to bear in mind is some of these sounds are longer than others, so if you feel like they're overlapping a bit, all you need to do is just extend this redstone clock like this. So just add a couple of extra repeaters in here like this, and this delay might be a little bit better. It's just really whatever you want. Right, now this is really cool. I genuinely absolutely love this, and it just adds so much to this TARDIS. Now, if you come to your exterior, the next thing we're going to be doing is actually some command block stuff once again, however this time with effects. So if you come underneath, first of all you need to control middle click your command block. Now what this means is when you place it down, it will still have your command in it. So destroy this one. Then once you've done that, you need to place your command block back, but this time 1 block below. Then place some redstone dust on top like that, and this time middle click it just without control, and you will get an empty command block, and place it next to it with some more redstone dust on top. What this means is when you activate the pressure plate, it will activate both of these command blocks. Now in this second command block, you need to put the following command: effect, give, and then at A, and then blindness. Put it for 3 seconds like that, and put an amplifier of 10. Then put true for hide particles, and then click done. Then just cover up the back like this, and that is your command block stuff done. Now what this means is when you enter the TARDIS, not only do you get a little bit of blindness, but you also then get the music kick in as well, and it just adds a really cool element to this TARDIS, which I absolutely love. Right, now this is pretty much us done. We have completely decorated this TARDIS. We've got some really cool ambience. It's ruined, it's different colors. We did the exterior, we've got effects and stuff, and I think it's come out really well. Now a final thing I can recommend is if you go to options, video settings, and turn your brightness all the way down to moody, then it just looks so much better. And this is your Halloween TARDIS complete. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like or comment, and if you'd like to see more content like this, then please subscribe. But I've been DT10, and I will see you in the next video.